Hello, my name is Elisa Morin, and this is my video recording slash audio for the Cognitive Processing Skills in English book. This is for unit exercise 3.2 and 3.3 that is due on February 1st. Going through the trip to the hospital for number 1, I said version B added that she was in the hospital for 6 days. She also added a lot more information on that end. When I was first going through it, it was pretty much similar until she got to that last bit. About the last 6 sentences, I recognized that were totally just added on. It seemed like kind of a spur of the moment thing, judging by her facial expressions. I think I'm gonna go ahead and say just the way that her body composure, I guess you can say it was, just was a little bit off to me. It made it seem like, oh, I'm just gonna go ahead and add more just because there's nothing else I really need to talk about. So let's go ahead and just spruce it up a little bit. And so that's what it really kind of seemed like. But version B definitely had a lot more semantic meaning behind it. I feel like she was really trying to get the audience, oh, I feel so bad for you, trying to get empathy for what she went through. So I went through and I put parentheses around what I heard differently, and I put brackets and I underlined and all that stuff, and you'll be able to see that in my screenshots. And going through on number 4 for the study questions, did you assume that both versions would have the same details? I said that I did right up until I heard the last 4 sentences of version B, and then it was pretty clear that it was semantically different. Not only that, but syntactically, she added at least 6 to 7 more sentences of just random information, I feel like, to get more empathy from the audience. So that tells me, hey, A, she either just wanted to do this so that way I, as a student, can recognize it, or B, she legitimately forgot to say the information beforehand and now is saying it, and I caught it, which is good, which makes me happy. And then number 5, I said sentences 15 through 21 in version B really showed Amy's saddened time in the hospital, again trying to get the empathy of the audience and adding more emphasis on it. So then I went ahead and I did the transcript and stuff, and I looked through it, and then for the 5-step follow-up, I went ahead and reviewed my answers. I referred back to the questions, and then I reread all the transcripts, and then I noticed that she switched certain phrases around in version B. I don't think it was really a big deal because I feel like semantically it meant the same thing. An example of that is she had certain phrases like and that were there but not there in version B or there in version A, that were added. So again, not really a big importance, but I was able to pick up on that. The other thing that I also picked up on was in version B, Children's Ward's Hospital, she said Naval Hospital in version A, so that was a big change too, especially since it's a noun, it's ahead of the whole sentence. It's something that's really important. It's a very specific detail. That is something that interpreters need to pick up on and be able to not only understand what the person is telling us, but to efficiently fingerspell that, because Children's Ward of the Hospital, that's an actual that's a place, that's the name of a place. You don't want to go ahead and do a compound and say child's care. You want to do the actual finger spelling and make it emphasize, hey, this is a legitimate name of the hospital. Unless that actual hospital has its own name sign, it's really important for interpreters to recognize that. And from version A and B, and that's 2 separate places in my eyes, because unless there's some sort of thing of oh, ER, and oh, this is actually the name of it, is 1 in the 2 in 1 type of situation, if that makes sense. But in here, and how I heard it, it doesn't really come off to me like that. It comes off to two separate places because it's two separate names. I may be wrong, though. That's just kind of like my thinking. And then number 4, assessment. She did talk slow, but that wasn't really a problem. I have a problem with people saying, and it's like just really boring. And I felt like just watching her videos was really short, sweet, to the point. It wasn't really, that voice was not a problem with me at all. I didn't see that being something of my deficit. I did not think that it affected my ability to fully comprehend what she was trying to have me understand. For number 5, I went ahead and had my roommate talk about his day to me, and I had him say it 3 different times in 3 different like little versions, but all kind of like the same gist. It was really simple. Like, I felt like the only things that he was really changing was the way that he originally put it in the first time, like, oh, I walked the dog today. Oh, this morning I walked the dog today. Oh, this morning, when he didn't say this morning last time. So kind of little stuff like that. Again, I don't think that's really that big of a deal to, you know, miss a couple words, unless they are like heads of a sentence and they're a noun or they are something that's really important in the sentence. Again, I might be wrong on that. Please coach me if I am. So, exercise 3.3, I really hated. I felt like this speaker got incredibly fast at the end. I feel like she started out really slow, really enunciated her words, and then by the 3rd video, I kid you not, she was talking really fast, and I was like, whoa, this is not who I thought you were, kind of thing. It was really good, though, because I felt like I was able to really put the interpreting cap on and be like, okay, like, that might happen. One day I might be interpreting for somebody and they are super fast and, you know, they are going crazy with all this terminology that I'm not working with. And the next day it's like, oh, we have the same kind of environment and same doctor or whatever, and they are using really slow words and they're trying to get what the deaf client is trying to say, and it's not really all the doctor talking but the deaf client. And so maybe that could be something that can apply to what I'm learning here. Like, oh, you know, one day they're going to talk really fast, they're going to throw all this stuff at you, you're going to have to be able to interpret it, and then one day it's going to be sit back, relax, and it's going to be easy. I don't know, maybe this is trying to teach me that. For number 1, I said version B. At first, she added her dog, Laddie. She did not add the years that they were in Boston or San Diego prior to moving. When in version B, version A, she did. In 2, I said, okay, I went through and I went ahead and paraphrased and bracketed and underlined and all that good stuff. Number 3, version B added her dog Laddie, and then version A had the length of time that they live in Boston. So again, going back, number 1, I was a little bit incorrect, but then going through and watching it again, number 3, I was able to catch that mistake. Number 4 I did, number 5 I did, and then 6, not really. I just noticed change in sentence structure. One had more additional information when the other one was a little bit vice versa, meaning like, I'll give you a quick example. Up till 91, and then in version B she said up till 1991. So it's a little bit different. I don't really know if that's really something as an interpreter I need to catch, but I did catch that going through and listening to it first time. Also caught that in the beginning she said young son, and then on the version B she said one small child, which I feel like version B at that point is a little bit opaque in reference to version A when she said young boy. Young meaning small or child, and boy meaning the gender, and so that way interpreting that, it would be a lot more specific in just being able to picture a young boy rather than one small child. You know, that could be ages infant to, you know, 13, 14. Who knows what they're thinking. That's just my personal opinion. That's not even something that's really a universal thing. And then I went ahead and I listened to version C, which, again, going through that one, she got incredibly fast. I felt like she was losing a lot of eye connection. And eye connection, for me, growing up in a deaf household, is really important. It's really important to look somebody that you're talking to in the eye, to not blink as much as possible, because I was taught that blinking is not really respectful. I was also taught that the less eye contact you have, the less you are paying attention to the actual situation at hand. So, you know, if I were just sitting here, like, you know, I was just, like, doing my thing and, like, just looking around and, like, just not even, like, it's just like, hey, are you here? Are you paying attention to me? Are you being considerate to my feelings? Are you actually listening to me and engaging and being motivated and ambitious into what I'm having to say? It's kind of that aspect, and it all kind of, I think, ties into respect. And so I'm not saying that the speaker had a respect issue, but it really did seem like, okay, not eye connection. Felt like she was talking really fast, like she was trying to do it on purpose, maybe for my, you know, my own, you know, learning capabilities. However, that's what I kind of got out of it. I was like, I was taught, no, you know, like, you're growing up in certain households and you apply them into your certain knowledge, and then you learn something different in college. I might be wrong. Please coach me on that if I am. Okay. And then, last but not least, the 5-step follow-up. These are always really interesting because this going through, I was able to pick, okay, this is my weakness. Okay, this is my strength. Okay, this is what I got going on for me. This is what I need to work on. With that being said, I felt like, okay, I caught on to everything. Probably, I would say 89% of everything that was different within version A, B, and C. Again, version C did not have that much additional information or information that actually changed, or any additional vocabulary or anything like that. It did not. So that made version C, like, a lot more easy. I felt like I was just sitting there like, okay, like, come on, let's get this over with kind of idea. But, yeah, so going through section, step 3, sorry. I felt like version C had a faster pace and less eye contact, like I already said previously. And then the rate of speech increased with each versions, obviously for number 4. And I felt like I already knew what she was talking about. So at version C, it was just kind of felt like I was just sitting there, not really doing anything progressive. For step 5, action, I had my roommate do it again, and I tried to see if I got any differences in his speech or vocab, and honestly, the only differences was, like I said last time, instead of saying this morning, he said today. You know, just simple stuff like that. It wasn't really that big of a problem. I don't want to say problem, but really, like, not as semantically different or syntactically different in his sentences, in his sentence structure. So maybe me telling him, hey, do it like this, this, and this, but maybe instead of next time for me to practice more, I could be like, hey, tell me about today, and then have him repeat it 2 times, like, on the side, so that way I can actually see if there is a difference or not. And then I also just want to, I know this video is kind of long, I apologize, but also, going forward and practicing more, I am going to, I think a really good way to practice this is just looking up a short little clip, whether it's in ASL or English, doesn't matter, and just kind of reviewing it and then writing down everything, and then going through it again and then writing down everything, and then seeing different versions and seeing maybe different teachers or different people teaching the same subject and seeing if there's any differences within that too. Because really, like, for interpreters, we're going to be interpreting for everybody and everything under the sun. Who knows? Like, there's always going to be a different person, a different clientele, and we need to really stretch our knowledge and anticipate anything, and just keep practicing until we get it perfect. So again, practice makes perfect, and that is everything for the English one for week 4. Goodbye.